Chosen ones, God commands you to complete this work as soon as possible. There is a quiet but powerful urgency flowing through these words today, and those who feel it in their hearts must not turn away or delay their attention even for a moment. Something deeply meaningful is unfolding in the lives of those who have been gently prepared by God through years of patience, faith, and unseen spiritual growth. The call being spoken now carries a sense of holy importance that should not be ignored, because within this calling rests a blessing, a purpose, and a divine assignment meant specifically for those who belong to the light of Christ. If you are reading these words with a stirring heart and a sense that something sacred is speaking to your soul, then pause for a moment and recognize that God often reaches His chosen ones through moments exactly like this. Type 1313 if you believe. There are seasons in life when everything appears ordinary on the outside, yet in the quiet spaces of the Spirit, God is preparing something extraordinary to be completed. Many chosen ones have walked through long roads of waiting, healing, learning, and growing, while wondering why their journey often felt heavier than others around them. The truth is that God allows certain hearts to carry deeper responsibilities because He trusts them with works that require compassion, patience, courage, and unwavering faith in Jesus Christ. These responsibilities are never given to burden the soul, but rather to awaken a purpose that shines hope into places where darkness once tried to settle. The gentle voice of God often arrives during still moments, when the world becomes quiet enough for the heart to listen clearly. In those sacred moments, the soul begins to understand that life was never meant to drift without meaning, because each chosen person carries a small light meant to brighten the lives of others who are still searching for comfort and direction. The teachings of Jesus Christ show that love, mercy, forgiveness, and kindness can transform the heaviest circumstances into pathways of healing and renewal. God does not call His chosen ones simply to observe the world around them, but to participate in the quiet restoration of hearts that have forgotten how deeply they are loved. Within this calling, there is also an important reminder that the work God speaks about is not always loud or dramatic in the way many people imagine. Often the most powerful acts of faith happen through gentle words, patient listening, compassionate understanding, and sincere encouragement that lifts another soul when they feel forgotten or discouraged. These small but meaningful actions create ripples of hope that travel much farther than anyone can see with human eyes. God notices every moment when His children choose kindness over anger, patience over frustration, and faith over fear. If these words bring comfort to your heart, please take a gentle moment to like the video, because doing so helps this light of encouragement reach many other souls who may be quietly waiting for the same reassurance and hope today. There are many people walking through life feeling invisible, misunderstood, or spiritually tired from carrying burdens that few others recognize. God often places His chosen ones near those very people, not by accident, but through divine guidance that moves quietly through everyday moments. The kindness you show, the peace you carry, and the faith you demonstrate become living reminders that God's love is still active and present in the world. Through the teachings of Jesus Christ, we learn that even a simple act of compassion can become a doorway through which healing begins to enter another person's life. Chosen ones sometimes struggle with doubt because their path has required more endurance than they expected when their journey first began. There were seasons filled with unanswered prayers, silent nights, and long periods where nothing seemed to change despite faithful effort and sincere hope. Yet during those very seasons, God was shaping the heart with wisdom, strengthening the spirit with patience, and teaching the soul how to carry light without losing humility. Every step of that preparation was quietly guiding you toward the work that is now being placed before you. This work is not about perfection or flawless strength, because God has never required his children to be perfect before serving his purpose. Instead, he calls those who remain willing, compassionate, humble, and open to being guided by the loving example of Jesus Christ. A gentle heart that sincerely cares for others becomes a powerful instrument through which God's presence can flow naturally and beautifully. When chosen ones simply walk in kindness, speak with honesty, and act with love, the light of Christ becomes visible through their everyday lives. Type 1212 if you trust in God. Many hearts are quietly searching for reassurance that goodness still exists, that faith still carries meaning, and that God has not forgotten the struggles of those who try to live with integrity and love. Chosen ones often become the quiet answer to those silent prayers, sometimes without even realizing the impact their presence creates. A calm spirit, a listening ear, and a compassionate word can gently remind another person that they are not alone and that God still walks beside them through every trial they face. God's command to complete this work carries urgency not because of fear, but because there are many hearts ready to receive the warmth and hope that flow from genuine faith. The world moves quickly and often distracts people from noticing the quiet ways God reaches them through others who carry his peace. When chosen ones respond to this calling with sincerity and courage, they become living reflections of Christ's love, moving gently through everyday life. In that beautiful mission, healing begins where pain once lived, hope rises where discouragement once settled, and faith grows stronger in places that once felt spiritually empty. Nothing that happened during those seasons was wasted or meaningless, because each experience quietly prepared the heart to understand compassion, patience, humility, and deep trust in the loving guidance of Jesus Christ. What once felt like delays or hardships slowly becomes visible as preparation for the sacred work that God now invites his chosen ones to complete with courage and faith. Deep within your brain is a small area tied to wealth and success, once hidden in restricted studies and classified documents. This newly uncovered frequency is helping people exchange financial stress for ease, and God has led you to see this message at this very moment. Click the link in the description and comments to activate this hidden brainwave now. Many people imagine that divine purpose appears suddenly with loud signs or dramatic moments that are impossible to ignore. In truth, God often reveals his plans through quiet understanding that slowly grows inside the heart like a gentle sunrise brightening the morning sky. The teachings of Jesus Christ show that God works through ordinary moments and simple acts of kindness that gradually bring healing and hope into the lives of others. Chosen ones begin to recognize this truth when they notice how their words comfort someone who feels alone, how their patience calms a troubled spirit, and how their presence quietly reminds others that God has never abandoned them. The work that God calls his chosen ones to complete does not require grand titles or public recognition, because heaven measures faithfulness through love rather than through worldly applause. A humble heart that carries the peace of Christ can change the atmosphere of a room without speaking loudly or demanding attention. When chosen ones respond with kindness instead of anger, forgiveness instead of resentment, and encouragement instead of criticism, they reveal the living example of Christ's teachings through their daily actions. That gentle light often reaches people who have forgotten that goodness still exists in the world around them. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. Walking by faith sometimes feels challenging because the world often celebrates strength, speed, and outward success more than quiet patience and inner peace. Yet Jesus Christ always demonstrated that the deepest strength comes from a humble spirit that trusts God even during moments when the outcome cannot yet be seen clearly. Chosen ones learn this lesson through experiences that require endurance and quiet confidence rather than immediate answers. These seasons teach the soul to remain steady while trusting that God continues working behind the scenes in ways that human eyes cannot immediately recognize. Many hearts in the world carry invisible burdens that remain hidden behind polite smiles and daily responsibilities. Some people are quietly grieving painful memories, while others are struggling with loneliness, fear, disappointment, or exhaustion that no one around them truly understands. God gently leads His chosen ones toward these individuals because compassionate hearts naturally create safe spaces where healing conversations can begin. Sometimes a patient listener becomes the first person who allows someone to feel seen, understood, and valued again after a long period of silent struggle. The work that God commands chosen ones to complete often involves bringing peace into places where tension once lived and restoring hope where discouragement has quietly grown. Through the loving example of Jesus Christ, believers learn that kindness and mercy hold tremendous power when offered sincerely and consistently. A warm word spoken at the right moment can help another person remember that their life still holds meaning and purpose. Even small gestures of compassion become powerful reminders that God's love continues moving gently through human hearts. There are moments when chosen ones hesitate because they wonder whether their efforts truly matter or whether their small acts of kindness make any lasting difference. These doubts often appear when the world seems busy, distracted, and indifferent to spiritual values that require patience and sincerity. Yet God sees every quiet act of goodness that flows from a sincere heart, and nothing offered with love is ever forgotten or wasted. The seeds planted through kindness, forgiveness, and encouragement often grow slowly, but eventually blossom into powerful testimonies of healing and restored faith. The teachings of Jesus Christ remind believers that light does not struggle against darkness by fighting loudly, but simply by shining faithfully wherever it is placed. When chosen ones carry peace in their hearts, that peace naturally spreads into conversations, relationships, and daily interactions. A calm and hopeful spirit becomes a quiet invitation for others to rediscover the comfort that comes from trusting God again. Through this gentle influence, hearts that once felt lost slowly begin to feel guided toward healing and renewed faith. Sometimes the work God asks His chosen ones to complete involves offering forgiveness that feels difficult at first. Human pain often creates walls around the heart, especially when past wounds have not fully healed. Yet Jesus Christ demonstrated through His life that forgiveness releases the soul from the weight of bitterness and restores freedom to the heart. When chosen ones choose forgiveness, they not only heal their own spirit, but also open the door for reconciliation, peace, and new beginnings to enter situations that once felt permanently broken. Chosen ones also discover that humility plays an important role in fulfilling the purpose God places before them. Pride often tries to convince people that recognition and praise are necessary for their efforts to matter. The example of Jesus Christ shows a very different path, where service, compassion, and quiet obedience become the true expressions of spiritual strength. When chosen ones focus on loving others sincerely rather than seeking attention, their actions become pure reflections of God's gentle and faithful character. There will always be moments when fatigue or discouragement tries to slow the progress of those who desire to serve God faithfully. Life's responsibilities, unexpected challenges, and emotional struggles sometimes make the journey feel heavier than expected. During these times, it becomes important to remember that God never asks His children to carry their responsibilities alone. Through prayer, reflection, and trust in Jesus Christ, chosen ones receive renewed strength that helps them continue walking forward with patience and hope. Type 1919 to receive miracles. Miracles often arrive quietly, in ways that people do not immediately recognize as extraordinary events. Sometimes a miracle appears as restored peace in a troubled family, renewed courage in a discouraged heart, or unexpected reconciliation between people who once felt distant from each other. God's presence transforms situations gently, allowing healing to grow step by step until hearts begin to notice that something beautiful has taken place. Chosen ones often become instruments through which these quiet miracles begin to unfold in everyday life. The world today carries many voices that compete for attention and often lead people toward worry, comparison, or discouragement. God's calling invites chosen ones to become calm and steady lights that guide others toward reassurance, faith, and hope. When believers remain grounded in the teachings of Jesus Christ, their lives begin to reflect peace, even in the middle of uncertain circumstances. That peaceful example becomes a silent message reminding others that trust in God still offers stability and comfort. A 7-second brainwave approach, previously limited to elite groups and stored in classified files, is now available to everyone, and many call it the 30-second miracle. Researchers claim it stimulates a dormant brain center associated with prosperity and blessings. Click the link in the comments below before it is removed from the internet again. Every act of kindness offered in faith becomes a small but powerful continuation of Christ's mission on earth. Jesus spent his time lifting weary hearts, comforting those who felt rejected, and reminding people that God's love reaches every soul regardless of their past mistakes or present struggles. Chosen ones continue this mission whenever they choose compassion instead of judgment and patience instead of frustration. Through these choices, the Spirit of Christ continues touching lives across generations. The work God calls his chosen ones to complete is deeply meaningful because it touches the inner lives of people who are searching for reassurance and direction. Many individuals quietly hope that someone will remind them that their story is not finished and that God still holds a beautiful future for them. When chosen ones respond to this calling with sincerity and love, they become part of the gentle restoration God is bringing into the world. God often allows these quiet seasons because they shape a heart that is strong enough to carry compassion, patient enough to understand suffering, and humble enough to serve others with sincerity. When the time arrives for God's work to unfold more clearly, those earlier seasons suddenly reveal their purpose like a sunrise slowly illuminating a landscape that once appeared dark and uncertain. The work God commands his chosen ones to complete does not come from pressure or fear, but from love that desires to heal wounded hearts and guide searching souls toward peace. Jesus Christ spent his life reaching people who felt forgotten, discouraged, or spiritually distant, and his example continues to guide believers today. When chosen ones reflect his gentle spirit through kindness and patience, they quietly continue the mission that Christ began long ago. Through ordinary conversations, thoughtful encouragement, and sincere care for others, the presence of God becomes visible in everyday life. Many chosen ones begin to notice that people are naturally drawn toward them during moments of personal struggle or emotional exhaustion. This happens because the peace that comes from trusting God creates a sense of safety and comfort that others can feel, even without many words being spoken. A calm and understanding presence becomes a place where tired hearts can finally rest and breathe again after carrying burdens alone for too long. Through this quiet influence, God allows healing conversations to begin and new hope to grow where discouragement once lived. Type yes to affirm. Affirmation of faith carries deep meaning because it strengthens the heart to continue walking forward even when the road ahead feels uncertain. God never expects His children to understand every detail of their journey before they take the next step. Instead, He invites them to move forward with trust, knowing that His wisdom continues guiding them gently toward the work prepared for them. Each step taken in faith becomes an act of quiet obedience that opens new doors of opportunity for kindness, encouragement, and spiritual restoration. Chosen ones often discover that the work they are called to complete involves bringing peace into places where people have lost hope or become discouraged by life's difficulties. Some individuals carry heavy memories that make it difficult for them to believe that better days are still possible. Others struggle with feelings of loneliness because they believe no one truly understands their inner battles. God sends compassionate hearts into these situations so that those who feel forgotten can experience reassurance through genuine understanding and gentle support. The teachings of Jesus Christ show that love has the power to reach the deepest places of the human heart, where pain and fear sometimes hide. When chosen ones offer kindness with sincerity, they remind others that God has not abandoned them and that healing remains possible even after long seasons of hardship. A single conversation filled with compassion can become the moment when someone finally feels hope returning after believing it had disappeared forever. Through these moments, the quiet work of God begins restoring broken confidence and renewing spiritual strength. There are also times when chosen ones must bring light into situations that seem filled with misunderstanding or conflict. The world often responds to disagreements with anger, pride, or stubbornness that only deepens division between people. Jesus Christ demonstrated another way by responding with patience, humility, and gentle truth that opened hearts rather than closing them further. When believers follow this example, they create opportunities for reconciliation where bitterness once seemed impossible to overcome. Chosen ones sometimes underestimate the power of their presence because the actions they take feel small or ordinary, yet God often works through the smallest gestures to create changes that ripple outward into many lives. A sincere word of encouragement might inspire someone to continue believing in their dreams. A patient conversation might calm fears that once seemed overwhelming. A forgiving heart might break a cycle of resentment that has lasted for years between people who once loved each other deeply. The reason God urges chosen ones to complete their work with sincerity and attentiveness is because there are many souls quietly waiting for reassurance that faith still holds meaning in today's world. The noise and distractions of everyday life sometimes cause people to forget the deeper purpose of their existence. Through the gentle example of believers who live with humility and compassion, others begin to remember that God's presence still surrounds them even when they feel lost or uncertain. Type 2020 to claim miracles. Miracles often appear in ways that are softer and more subtle than people expect when they imagine dramatic events. A miracle can be the return of peace to a restless heart that has been struggling with anxiety for a long time. It can be the healing of a relationship that once seemed broken beyond repair. Sometimes, a miracle arrives as renewed courage within someone who had almost given up hope for their future. Through these quiet transformations, God reveals His love in ways that bring lasting change to the lives of those who receive it. Chosen ones play a meaningful role in these miracles because their compassion allows God's love to move through them naturally. When they offer patience, encouragement, and understanding, they become living reminders that divine kindness still exists in the world. The presence of someone who genuinely cares can become the turning point in another person's story. Through that simple but powerful influence, a discouraged soul may begin to see life with new hope and renewed faith. What if abundance could be activated from within your own mind through a powerful sound frequency once kept in classified files. Specialists say this signal naturally draws opportunity and financial independence, and many people are already applying it. Click the link in the description and comments now, and switch on this hidden brainwave today. It is also important for chosen ones to care for their own hearts while completing the work God has placed before them. Serving others with compassion requires emotional strength and spiritual renewal that come from spending quiet time in prayer, reflection, and gratitude. Jesus often withdrew to peaceful places so that his spirit could remain connected with the love and wisdom of God. Believers who follow this example discover that moments of stillness restore their strength and help them continue serving with joy rather than exhaustion. The journey of faith becomes most beautiful when chosen ones realize that they are never walking alone while fulfilling their purpose. God's presence surrounds them in ways that guide their decisions, calm their worries, and strengthen their determination during challenging moments. Even when circumstances seem uncertain, divine guidance continues working quietly to lead them toward opportunities where their kindness and faith can make a difference. There will be days when the progress of this work feels slow and unnoticed by the world around them. During those moments, it becomes important to remember that God values faithfulness more than speed or recognition. Seeds planted through patience and kindness often grow slowly beneath the surface before their beauty becomes visible. In time, those seeds blossom into restored relationships, renewed hope, and deeper understanding between people who once felt distant from one another. The world today needs voices that speak with calmness and hearts that respond with compassion rather than judgment. When chosen ones remain faithful to the teachings of Jesus Christ, their lives become quiet reflections of divine love that inspire others to seek peace and forgiveness. This influence spreads gently through families, friendships, and communities, gradually transforming environments that once felt heavy with tension or discouragement. As the journey of chosen ones continues, there comes a deeper realization that God's command to complete the work placed before them is not simply about action, but about transformation that begins inside the heart. The work that unfolds in the world is always rooted in what first grows quietly within the spirit. When the heart learns to trust God more deeply, the mind becomes calmer, the words become gentler, and the presence of a believer begins to carry peace wherever they walk. Through this quiet inner renewal, chosen ones become living reminders that faith in Jesus Christ continues to shape lives in ways that bring healing and restoration. Many people who are chosen for meaningful spiritual work spend years feeling misunderstood or out of place among those around them. Their hearts often carry sensitivity, empathy, and a deep awareness of the struggles that others experience. While these qualities sometimes make life feel heavier, they also become the very gifts that allow them to serve others with sincerity and compassion. God often prepares his chosen ones by allowing them to experience both joy and sorrow, because those experiences teach the heart how to understand the pain and hopes of others with genuine care. The teachings of Jesus Christ reveal that love expressed through humility carries a quiet strength capable of transforming situations that once seemed impossible to change. When believers respond to anger with patience and respond to discouragement with hope, they reflect the gentle nature of Christ's Spirit. These moments may appear simple, yet they hold tremendous spiritual value because they interrupt cycles of negativity and replace them with peace. Chosen ones learn that even one act of kindness can begin restoring faith in a person who had almost lost hope in goodness. Type 2323 if you agree. Agreement in faith creates unity among those who seek to walk in the light of God's love. When people acknowledge the truth that kindness and compassion matter, They strengthen the atmosphere of hope that surrounds their lives. The world becomes brighter when individuals choose to reflect Christ's teachings through their daily behavior and sincere concern for others. This shared commitment to love and humility creates an environment where healing conversations can begin and trust can slowly be rebuilt between people. Many chosen ones begin to recognize that their life experiences have quietly prepared them to help others navigate challenges that once felt overwhelming. When someone encounters a person who truly understands their pain, they often feel comforted in ways that words alone cannot explain. God uses these moments to remind people that they are not alone in their struggles and that healing becomes possible through understanding and encouragement. The compassion that chosen ones carry becomes a bridge connecting wounded hearts with the reassurance of God's presence. The command to complete the work given by God also involves strengthening faith within communities and relationships where discouragement has begun to grow. Many families carry silent tensions or unresolved hurts that slowly distance loved ones from each other. The gentle example of forgiveness and patience shown by believers can begin softening these situations and opening the door for reconciliation. When one person chooses humility instead of pride, others often feel encouraged to do the same. Jesus Christ always demonstrated that true strength comes from love that refuses to abandon people during their moments of weakness. His life showed that compassion reaches deeper into the human heart than judgment ever could. Chosen ones continue this example when they remain patient with those who are struggling and extend kindness even when circumstances make it difficult. Through these choices, they help restore dignity and hope to individuals who once felt rejected or misunderstood. There are also moments when chosen ones must encourage others to believe in their potential again after disappointment has shaken their confidence. Many individuals carry dreams that were once bright but became hidden beneath layers of doubt or past failures. God often places believers near these individuals so that their words of encouragement can reignite a sense of purpose that had been forgotten. A single voice that believes in someone's future can inspire courage to rise again where discouragement once settled. What if wealth was never about chance, but about a hidden brain signal that stayed buried in classified records? This powerful frequency is now opening doors, attracting fresh opportunities, and transforming lives quickly. Thousands are already using it to bring prosperity into their lives in ways they never imagined possible. Click the link in the description and comments now and turn on the money-attracting brainwave today. The work that God commands His chosen ones to complete includes nurturing faith in environments where people feel overwhelmed by the noise and pressure of everyday life. Modern life often moves quickly and leaves little space for reflection or spiritual peace. When believers create moments of calm through prayerful presence, thoughtful listening, and sincere care, they remind others that life holds deeper meaning beyond temporary worries. These quiet reminders invite hearts to slow down and rediscover the comfort of trusting God. Type 666 if you trust Jesus. Trust in Jesus Christ becomes the foundation that allows chosen ones to continue their work even when challenges appear along the way. Faith reminds the heart that God's wisdom is greater than human understanding and that every step taken with sincerity carries purpose. When believers rely on Christ's teachings, they receive strength that helps them remain steady during moments when others might feel discouraged or uncertain.